Hi everyone, I'm Tonjiwe Caroline, PhD major in finance. I'm making a short presentation about my end of term report, which looks at the determinants of financial market development, analysis of domestic financial market in South Africa. Basically, what motivated me to look at this topic uh, is the literature by Diego and Carolaya 2017 that look at the listing gap in the US. This article of the listing gap basically highlights on how the US has continuously experienced a decreasing trend in terms of firms that get listed on the US market. And they attribute this decline to either the increase in merger and acquisitions and also due to the declining benefit that these firms accrue from getting listed on the stock market. And the same paper also lists the different countries across the globe which have experienced either a decrease or an increase in terms of firms that get listed on their stock markets. And among them is South Africa. And they show that South Africa has also continuously experienced a decreasing trend in terms of firms that get listed on the South Africa's stock market. Of course, South Africa is less comparable to the US financial market, but South Africa has its own uniqueness, especially when it comes to the African continent. The fact that it has the most developed financial market on the continent, and also the fact that it leads in terms of ranking on the global map in terms of financial market development. So when it comes to understanding much into the financial market growth on the African continent, South Africa drives much attention to academicians, to researchers, to economists in understanding deeper why South Africa's financial market continue to thrive while other countries on the same continent seem to be sluggish in terms of their financial market development. So based on this literature, I was motivated to look into deeper in understanding the determinants of financial market growth in South Africa, and in particular, focusing on the domestic financial market growth. I looked at market capitalization of domestic listed firms to proxy financial market development in South Africa. And to be in position to answer my question, I looked at the data from World Development Indicator, World Bank, and IMF database. And I focused on a period spanning from 1975 to 2019. And my major variable of interest was market capitalization of domestic listed firms. I also considered other variables like domestic credit and trade, since these variables have been highlighted in the previous literature to be influential in determining financial market growth. And all these variables are measured as a percentage of GDP. And I also use the log values for all these variables. And to be in position to test whether the past realization of these variables do have predictive power in determining financial market growth, I use the vector autoregression model. But before setting up my model, since the vector autoregression model requires that the data should be stationary, I had to test for stationarity. And to test for stationarity, I used the augmented Decay-Fuller statistical test. And my criteria was that for my data to be stationary, then the DK Fuller test should be greater than 5% critical value. And my data turned out to be non-stationary. So I had to rerun a confirmatory test using the first difference for all the variables, and all the variables turned out to be stationary at first difference. Then I also went ahead to determine the maximum lags to be used in the model. Using the various information criteria, I basically focused on the Akaeka information criteria, which had the lowest value and was static at 1 lag. So basically, my model uses 1 lag for all the variables. So I set up the model whereby I regress the log of market capitalization of domestic listed firms on its own lag, and on the lag of domestic credit and trade and the error term. So my basic VAR model results were actually interesting, whereby the lag of market capitalization of domestic listed firm is significant and positive at 1% level. Also, the lag of domestic credit is positive and significant at 5%, while the lag of trade is positive, though insignificant. So basically from these results, I can say that the past realization of both market capitalization and domestic credit do have an impact in influencing financial market growth in South Africa. Then also after running my vector autoregression model, I had to plot the impulse response. And my interest in this impulse response was to check how my main variable responds to the shocks from both domestic credit and trade. And looking at my graphs, they show that market capitalization of domestic credit responds positively to domestic credit, both in short and in long run, while the response from market capitalization of domestic credit to trade is a bit stagnant in the short run, though increases in long run, but at a decreasing rate. So I also had to carry out different diagnostic checks so as to prove that my model remains substantial with the various time series vector autoregression tests. I carried out the autocorrelation tests following the Johansson 1995 to test for autocorrelation in the residues of the vector autoregression model. And the result shows that actually there is no autocorrelation in the residues for any of the lag that are tested in my model. Then I also had to test for normality using the Jacobera test, and the results shows that the errors are normally distributed for the entire vector autoregression model. And I also went on and tested for stability of my model, and the results shows that the eigenvalues lie within the unit circle for the entire model, thus satisfying the stability condition of my vector autoregression model. So basically looking at the results of the vector autoregression model with the various tests, I can say that the past realization in both market capitalization of domestic listed firms together with domestic credits do influence financial market development in South Africa. And looking at the contribution of my paper, this paper contributes to the enormous literature about financial market development, and in particular by highlighting on the positive effect of market capitalization of domestic listed firms in influencing financial market development. Thus, in conclusion, I recommend that countries need to consider strengthening their domestic markets, which sets a ground for the entire financial growth of a country as a whole. Yeah, that brings the end of my discussion. I thank you.